US President Donald Trump said the US is close to making a trade deal with India. This is trade negotiators from Washington and New Delhi are pushing to finalize a tariff-reducing deal. But disagreements over dairy and agricultural sectors are delaying the process. Trump remarks came after the US unveiled the first in a wave of promise letters that threaten to impose higher tariff rates on key trading partners, including Bangladesh, Thailand, South Korea and Japan, to come into effect starting the 1st of August. US President Donald Trump said that the August 1st effective date for US tariffs was firm, but that he would be open to extensions if countries made proposals. Trump said that he is not 100% firm on the 1st of August date, adding that, and I'm quoting here, if the countries call up and say that we'd like to do something different, we're going to open that way. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba said that Japan would continue negotiations with the United States to seek a bilateral trade deal that benefits both countries. In a meeting with his cabinet ministers to discuss Japan's strategy in dealing with US tariffs, Ishiba said that Japan and the US had so far failed to reach a deal as a result of his country's unwillingness to give up easy concessions during negotiations. The Japanese Prime Minister added that the tariff announcement was deeply regrettable. President Donald Trump said the United States will send additional weapons to Ukraine after Russia claimed new gains in the Ukrainian territory. Trump's announcement followed US saying last week that it was halting some weapons shipments to Kyiv that left Ukrainian officials scrambling for clarity. Moscow on Monday said that its forces captured its first village in Ukraine's central Dnipropetrovsk region after advancing towards it for months. President Donald Trump's administration has revoked the Foreign Terrorist Organization designation for Al-Nusra, also known as HTS, according to a State Department memo which was filed on Monday. Now, this is a major step as Washington moves to ease sanctions on Syria. The 23rd June dated memo was signed by U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and was published in the preview of the Federal Register before official publication on Tuesday. President Donald Trump said that the United States and Iranian officials will be meeting soon, returning to diplomacy after the U.S. bombed Iran's nuclear sites and the country retaliated. While Trump declined to say when the talks would occur, his West Asia Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said it would happen in the next week or so. Earlier, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian said that he believes Iran can resolve its differences with the United States through dialogue, adding that trust would be an issue after U.S. and Israeli attacks on his country. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has claimed that Israel attempted to assassinate him during last month's 12-day conflict between the two countries. His first major interview with Western media since the war, Pezeshkian spoke with U.S. media personality Tucker Carlson and said that Israeli forces targeted the location of a high-level meeting he was attending. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and US President Donald Trump expressed optimism about a peace deal with Hamas during their dinner meeting at the White House on Monday. Netanyahu told reporters that Israel is still working with the US to find countries willing to help displaced Palestinians from Gaza. It was Netanyahu's third visit to the White House since Trump took office, again on the 20th of January. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has nominated President Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize for his role in the quote-unquote forging peace during their dinner at the White House. Netanyahu also handed a copy of the nomination letter that he sent to the prize committee. The UN General Assembly adopted a resolution calling on Afghanistan to uphold human rights, adhere to international law, and take decisive action against terrorism. India's permanent representative to the UN reiterated support for Afghan people's humanitarian and development needs while expressing concerns over terrorist groups using Afghan territory. The Indian envoy highlighted the ongoing security concerns and specifically mentioned Pahalgam terrorist massacre in April that was carried out by the Resistance Front, which is a group linked to Pakistan-based LET. China has eased its visa policy to unprecedented levels. Citizens from 74 countries can now enter China for up to 30 days without a visa, a big jump from previous regulations. China has been steadily expanding its visa-free entry in a bid to boost tourism and its soft power. Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in Brasilia for his state visit. Brazil's Minister of Defense, Jose Murcio Monteiro Filho, received him at the airport. During his visit, Prime Minister Modi will hold bilateral discussions with Lula da Silva on the broadening strategic partnership between the two nations in areas of mutual interest, including trade, defense, energy, space, and technology. Pakistan PMLN Senator Irfan Siddiqui has denied reports suggesting any proposal to replace President Asif Ali Zardari. Speaking to a private TV channel, the PMLN leader said that no such suggestion is under consideration at any level. Siddiqui also said President Zardari is playing his constitutional role effectively as the head of state. PMLN leader also refuted reports of meeting between Nawaz Sharif, Imran Khan in Adyala jail as completely false and baseless. In Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region, armed men hijacked 3 oil tankers and abducted 7 crew members from the bridge area of the Bannu district. No group has so far claimed responsibility for the hijacking and abduction. No ransom demands have been made. Pakistan has witnessed an uptick in terror activities, especially in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan over the past year. Police in Kenya clashed with demonstrators during the latest anti-government protests that killed 10 people. Authorities blocked major roads leading into the capital Nairobi, and most businesses closed amid the strictest measures yet to contain the unrest. the Kitengela town in Nairobi's outskirts. Police fired tear gas to disperse the protesters there. Britain marked the 20th anniversary of the July 7th attacks on London's transit system. King Charles III led commemorations on the 20th anniversary of the bombings, the deadliest attack on the British capital since World War II. 52 people died and more than 700 were wounded when 4 British men, inspired by Al-Qaeda, blew themselves up on 3 subway trains and a bus during the morning rush hour on the 7th of July, 2005. Syrian President Ahmad al-Shara on Monday arrived in the United Arab Emirates for an official state visit. UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan and Syrian President Ahmad al-Shara discussed bilateral relations and exchanged views on regional issues, stressing on the importance of peace, security and stability in West Asia. Sheikh Mohammed reaffirmed the UAE support for Syria, and Syrian President expressed his gratitude to the UAE counterpart for his solidarity. At least 104 people confirmed dead, another 41 missing following flash floods in central Texas. The devastation along the river has drawn a massive search effort. This as officials face questions over their preparedness and the speed of their initial actions. Donald Trump signed a major disaster declaration for the Kerr County, activating the Federal Emergency Management Agency to Texas. Heavy rain and flooding have forced dozens of people to flee their homes across central North Carolina. The torrential rain prompted water rescues, road closures, and power outages that continued into Monday. Many rescues took place in apartment complexes where rising floodwaters entered or threatened their homes. In India, rain fury in Himachal so far killed 80 with 52 fatalities directly attributed to disasters such as landslides, flash floods and cloudbursts, while 28 deaths were due to other causes including road accidents. The district of Mandi is the worst hit, accounting for 17 rain-related deaths, followed by Kangra with 11. Massive damage to crops, roads, bridges and power infrastructure has also been reported, especially in Mandi, Kullu, Kangra and Shimla. Relief camps have been set up and rescue operations are ongoing with assistance from NDRF and the SDRF teams. The India Met Department has issued a yellow alert for the national capital for moderate to light rainfall and thunderstorms. The sky is expected to remain mostly cloudy in Delhi throughout the day. The Met Department has predicted light rainfall in the national capital throughout this week until the 13th of July. Oil prices reiterated the early trade today, this after rising almost 2% in the previous session as investors assess new developments on US tariffs and a higher than expected OPEC Plus output for hikes for August. Brent crude futures dipped 0.3% at 69.36 a barrel. US oil dropped 0.4% at 67.66 a barrel. Trump's tariffs have prompted uncertainty across the market and concerns that they could have a negative effect on the global economy and consequently on the oil demand. However, there are some signs that current demands remain strong, particularly in the US. Other signs of higher demand were seen in India, the world's third largest oil consumer, with government data reporting fuel consumption in June was 1.9% higher than a year ago. Australian business activity rebounded sharply in June as firms reported rising sales and profitability. Experts say that's offering hope demand was finally benefiting from lower borrowing costs and cooling inflation. The improvement in retail is welcome as consumer demand has struggled all year despite 2 cuts in interest rates and a slowdown in inflation. Wall Street's major indices closed sharply lower on Monday after US President Donald Trump announced hefty tariffs against Japan, South Korea and other trading partners, while Tesla shares sank after CEO Elon Musk said that he was forming a new US political party. Stocks wobbled further in the late afternoon when he announced hefty tariffs on Malaysia, Kazakhstan, South Africa, Laos and Myanmar. Trump also threatened an extra 10% tariffs on countries aligning themselves with anti-American policies of BRICS groups of Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa.